Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mortgage Show on CKNW. I'm Manny Bazunas, along with accredited mortgage professional and best-selling author of The Mortgage Code, Angela Calla. Angela Calla, CALLA.ca. So pleased you could be with us. We are heard at this hour every weekend on CKNW. This has been another exciting week for the Angela Calla mortgage team. Webinars, educating people on mortgages, and issuing this month's newsletter, Angela, which covers mortgage penalties. I think if there's one thing that frightens people about mortgages, it's got to be the prospect of a penalty.
You know, Manny, Canadians haven't learned enough about it to really understand. It depends. I mean, we have a decade of Canadians that are not used to the economic circumstances that have led to where interest rates are today. And so when I began my career in mortgages over 20 years ago now, that became one of the aspects I was most passionate about and was so inspired to bring forward in my practice, bring forward in the media when I had the opportunity in television and radio and vis-a-vis this show, but also in the Mortgage Code, because we've been doing this show, Manny, for over 15 years together, and we've seen economic circumstances back in 2008 when interest rates were higher than they were today, more so around where they were in the levels of 2022. And very quickly, our economic circumstances changed and interest rates reduced down to in the 3% range. And with that, that's when Canadians started becoming aware of what mortgage penalties could look like, because you saw in the news all the time people crying about not being able to move because property values were stagnant and they maybe just got into their home with a 5% down payment the year before and they wanted to take advantage of lower rates, but depending on who their mortgage lender was would depend on if that was going to be an option for these homeowners, because if they couldn't put the penalty into the new mortgage because the penalty was so high, then they would be stuck for a longer period of time paying more. And so that's why when I educate for the real estate board, when we have the opportunity to help clients think that they're going to negotiate an interest rate, but that's not what's going to contribute to the lowest cost of borrowing. It's going to be the terms. And so the example that I give in the real estate board is, let's say you have a mortgage for $500,000. Well, if you have a discount off of the rate, what the lenders are doing now is they're making those discounts larger. Well, as a consumer, you think bigger discount, bigger benefit, right? But what they don't tell you, because they're not obligated to, because they work for the bank, not for you, they will give you the product that they have, but their obligation is to make the most amount of money for their employer and to sell you, not to do whatever is best financially for you. As they will give you, they'll say, oh, go get any mortgage out there, any mortgage rate you see, we'll match it or beat it. And psychologically, because you don't understand the numbers, because it's not being disclosed to you, if you're working with an independent professional, you think, great, oh, wow, I'm valued, but that's not the truth. The truth is that that's going to be used against you, because 7 out of 10 Canadians will need to break their mortgage, not because they move, Manny, but because the economic circumstances change, because the relationship might change, their opportunities might change as a result. And so the example that I give for the real estate board is, if you have a $500,000 mortgage, you can have a penalty, over $25,000 with any lender, any bank that a client can walk into and get a mortgage. It's not unheard of for that penalty to be 4 or 5% of the outstanding balance, because they use the discount against you and multiply that by the amount of years. However, if you qualify for a mortgage through a monoline lender, which is only available through brokers, then those lenders don't have the high posted rates that they're giving the discount off of. Those rates are closer to the rate that you're actually paying, so the penalty is much lower. So instead of paying the $25,000 or $30,000 penalty, maybe you're paying a $5,000 or $10,000 penalty, which will give you a lot more flexibility to be able to move up the property ladder sooner It'll give you more flexibility to modify your mortgage when interest rates change. And I have to tell you that the last 2 years in business as well, with interest rates coming down as a result of our current economic circumstances, never mind the last 3 patterns that we've seen here together, Manny. We just redid a mortgage for someone who bought 2 years ago, and it's $1 million mortgage. And because they qualified for a monoline lender, they, they're able to now redo their mortgage at a lower rate, saving thousands of dollars in interest and $600 a month. And this is not by them doing anything other than us proactively managing their mortgage, pulling reports and saying, hey, I think we have an opportunity here, and helping them proceed with that just by doing the paperwork. These people are saving $600 a month, not by working harder, not by moving, not by getting some side hustle. It's by working together with an independent mortgage provider who cares about you and getting you the lowest cost of borrowing. And if you're wondering or thinking, oh, well, that doesn't matter, I got myself a good rate from a bank. Let me ask you this. When's the last time that your mortgage provider called you, emailed you, and let you know that there could be a way for you to save money and for the lender to earn less? If you can answer that, then you absolutely need to call our office today.
Well, yeah, I don't recall ever receiving a call from a bank saying, hey, we got a good deal for you and you can save some money. Really good on that person coming to the Angela Calla mortgage team. Again, there's no fee for her service. And when Angela says you're in the system and we're constantly looking at your mortgage to see if there's an opportunity for this particular mortgage holder, it was a $600 a month saving because Angela and her team were on it. Even people in the mortgage industry seek out Angela's help, or people who have, played a part in mortgages or in banking seek out Angela's help. And one of those people is Deborah. And you recently had a chance to Zoom call with Deborah. Angela, let's have a listen to that conversation.
So grateful that you could join us today, Deborah. Would you kindly share a little bit about what inspired you to get in touch with us in the first place?
Absolutely. I was looking for a mortgage jointly with my daughter. And I needed to have, just wanted to get her into the whole mortgage responsibility and owning a home. And I was looking for a mortgage, obviously. And I was going through some other different vendors and lenders, and they just were not being responsive. A lot of delay in getting calls back and taking their time to get back to me. And with the increasing rates, the way they were going, I knew that I needed to speak to somebody who could actually reach out to many different people at the same time and just quicken that process. So I knew that I had to call you.
Thank you. And where did you hear about us?
A couple different ways. First of all, my doctor's office has your particular signage in its building. So every time I would go to the pharmacy or to my doctor's office or even the Life Labs there, your signage was very clear. And so it always just kept in the back of my mind. Second of all, on my drive to and from work, the Dominion Lending building is something that I pass by all the time. Yeah. And thirdly, I used to work in the financial industry myself, doing this very thing. So, of course, talking to our membership, et cetera, I was very well aware that you were around as well. So,
wow. Well, that's amazing how the universe kind of brings all of that together.
It did. It did. Perfect timing.
Exactly. And what was the experience like previous to calling our team and dealing with us?
Yeah, previously I was setting out all the information, of course, and it was literally days and honestly, sometimes weeks before I was getting any response back. And that was just, I understand, having been in it, how crazy the market was and still is. But that was too long to even say, hi, I'm working on it, or another question or any follow-up. And that just wasn't acceptable. I needed better service than that.
Yes, of course, of course. And what was it like dealing with our team?
Right from the beginning, I had a call the next day. Introductions took place, of course, asking what it was that I wanted, and discussing what products, etc. And then it was daily after that. There was always a connection. with somebody, and certainly actually a team of people. Sometimes I had 2 or 3 people that I was replying to in a group, and that was wonderful. So I always had a contact with somebody, and they were very good about the integrity of your organization and saying what they can and they can't do, letting us know the ins and outs of how it was going to work. And I found it all very clear. They provided very good lists to work off of. So I was able to just meet those obligations and get it done, get it done, get it done. And so the whole process moved really quite quickly.
Excellent. And
Yeah.
what advice would you give to other people that are wondering about their mortgage options and what steps they should take?
I think that I would suggest do a little bit of research about what kind of product you want, just the basics, this would work. Your company would go over that with them anyways, but if they just kind of have some feeling about what they would like, would definitely help. And get your documents ready, go in, just basic items like your identification, your payroll, your tax returns. Pretty much everybody has those somewhere. Go pull them out. Your company will let them know which portions they need and help them through that. But the more you're on top of it, the more you can quicken the process, and it's a good round benefit for both parties. So I would just say, do your homework, ask the questions. It's good to just get the clarification, and your guys are really good about answering that. So don't feel afraid to ask questions. It's totally fine and acceptable to do so.
Excellent. And how does it feel now that the mortgage is all completed?
Really great. Wish the interest rates were better, but of course that's the market. But I feel, very comforted that my goal was accomplished and it was done in a timely manner, no surprises, all completed fine. And I would absolutely recommend people go with this method, because at the end of the day, you guys are working to get the best scenario for your clients, and that's really at the heart of it. So I feel very satisfied.
Excellent. Well, it's been an absolute privilege to help you and your daughter. And I know I speak on behalf of my entire team when I say that we're looking forward for the years to come, and we consider you a part of our mortgage family. So thank you so much for everything.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for asking me.
Yes, my pleasure. Have a wonderful week. I really appreciate the time that you spent with me.
Okay. All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye now.
Really cool that, she is someone who knows mortgages, she knows banking, and just did not get the service or the timely responses she needed from her financial institution. She went to Angela, and everything is now financially copacetic. AngelaCalla.ca, Angela Calla, CALLA.ca. You are listening to The Mortgage Show on CKNW. I'm Manny Bazunas. Back in a moment. Welcome back to The Mortgage Show on CKNW. Manny Bazunas, along with accredited mortgage professional Angela Calla. No fee for Angela's service. Angela Calla, CALLA.ca. Time now for our resident real estate expert from Royal LePage 1, Robert Boys, with a fabulous listing downtown Vancouver, 4th floor on Homer. What I like about this listing, Robert, the 1,200 square foot deck.
For sure, Manny. Not absolutely the biggest deck in downtown Vancouver, but I'll bet you it's in the top 3. And, some people like me, I don't want to be on the 30th, 40th floor. But this unit, 401 928 Homer Street, like say private, exclusive just for this unit, 1,200 square foot deck. It's furnished and can be purchased furnished. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, parking included, storage included, gym included, concierge included, 24/7 security, 3 elevators. People, don't buy in a high-rise building with only 2 elevators. It just becomes a hassle. So Yaletown Park, if you know, you know. really one of the best managed buildings. I own in here. I've owned in here since 2007. It's now gone from a pet-a-tar to a investment cash flowing property. We, as a strata, paid for, budgeted for a complete exterior upgrade as well. Not because there was any issues, but it was all preventative. So amazing unit, priced at $979,000. If you're looking for this type of space, this is the one for you. 401-928 Homer Street.
We've always harped on the 3 elevators, and I'm so glad you brought that up, Robert. I was in a condo building the other day visiting a friend, and there were 2 elevators, one of which, of course, was being used because it was the end of the month, and there was someone moving in or moving out. I didn't ask. All I know is I had to wait for that elevator, the one left, 10 minutes, maybe? Okay. 3 elevators always, folks. 401-928-HOMER, $979,000 is what Robert is looking for in this particular listing, and you can check it out at robboys.com, ROBBOIES.com. Robert owns in that building himself, so he knows the building well and wouldn't put this listing forward if he didn't think it was a fabulous deal. robboys.com. Okay, Robert, let's move on to your app that you've got going, rented123.com. I was looking at it the other day, and you have a variety of different types of memberships on this particular app, which is so beneficial for both landlords and tenants. But the one that stuck out for me was the silver membership.
For sure. We have completely revolutionized the property management space. We are the largest tech stack in the industry. We leverage AI, ID verifications with AI facial recognition. But one of the tools that I really wanted to ensure that we were able to bring to the public, start building credit, boost your financial literacy, and get closer to home ownership just by paying your rent. And what we do, we don't have to manage your property. You just have to be a member. It's only $10 a month. You get all kinds of other features and benefits within that. Remember, we do not have to manage your property. You just have to be a member. And then we report that on-time rent payment to the credit agencies. And then just think about it. You're sitting there right now. How much do you pay in rent? It's more generally than a leased vehicle, definitely more than your cell phone that's also likely being reported. But that's going to drive up credit scores. We give you access to financial influencers. You can get a free, no obligation financial needs analysis from a trusted professional. This is all done securely. We actually you don't report to us. You report through a secure, data safe link that we send you. So you do that reporting monthly, and it's going to grow up or drive up your opportunity for home ownership. We're also doing rent home programs with developers out there. Developers that product. If you want to talk about this, 30-month program, fully secured, properly managed by rented123.com. You're a realtor out there struggling for inventory. Our franchise system will unleash your income as well. But for renters and really for homeowners, because you're doing that way as well, more incentivization to pay on time. For the first time ever, leverage that rental payment with rented123.com.
How long does it take, Robert, from the first time a person makes a payment on this silver membership to see their credit score enhanced?
Well, of course, there's other things that go in there as well. It's your outside debt as well, your ability to pay that outside debt. So this is just one of the key components. But, Angela will tell you need 3 lines of credit to be reporting. So it's going to drive it up. 6 to 9 months, as long as you're maintaining everything else as well and paying down your debt. But once again, we can hook you up with a financial advisor to help you restructure some of your debt, potentially get, into some mutual funds if you want to start putting away some money. And all of those things will drive up your credit score. But generally, rent is one of your highest payments, and that will definitely influence credit over 6 to 9 to 12 months, depending on where you are.
And of course, the better credit score you have, the better terms you're going to get in a mortgage, and it's more easily placed. I mean, when you go to Angela and she checks out your credit score, she knows exactly where you stand in terms of your marketability to a financial institution to get you the best terms and certainly the best rate. So that credit score is critical. And so this is very innovative on the part of Rob Boys and his app, rented123.com, is to apply your monthly rent towards enhancing your credit score and moving you that one step closer to home ownership. Rented 123, courtesy Rob Boys, our resident real estate expert from Royal LePage. Rented123.com. You're listening to The Mortgage Show on CKNW. I'm Manny Bazunas, along with accredited mortgage professional and best-selling author of The Mortgage Code, available on Amazon. Proceeds to worthwhile causes in the community. Angela Calla, CALLA.ca. Back in a moment. Welcome back to The Mortgage Show on CKNW. Manny Bazunas, along with accredited mortgage professional and best-selling author of The Mortgage Code, Angela Calla. Angela Calla, CALLA.ca. Can we talk for a moment about the Mortgage Code? Angela, you mentioned it earlier on in the show. This is your best-selling book on Amazon, proceeds to charity, chock full of information. These are really the basic do's and don'ts of the mortgage industry that you put pen to paper to. And so many things in this book apply to us yesterday, today, and likely tomorrow. And one of the things that you talk about in the book is restructuring and how do you get a lower rate? How do you build your credit score? I mean, it's just chock full of information, everything you need to know about mortgages. And the information itself, as you always pointed out, Angela, knowledge is power. We know that expression really well. Well, you recently helped Tina and Jordan from Prince Rupert. And what of the things that you did for Tina and Jordan of Prince Rupert is at the very last minute before they signed on the dotted line on their mortgage, you checked for a lower interest rate. And sure enough, there it was. It's called an interest rate check. You were able to save them more than $2,450. An interest rate drop check. That is just so critical when you're dealing with a mortgage broker.
That's just one of the many benefits that, it's funny, Manny, because we talk about all of these aspects that equate to consumers being more financially independent, having more financial security, and designing their own life. And the interest rate check is just one. When people contact us, they often have this element of stress and they feel that they have to shop and they don't know and they have to wait. You don't have to do any of that. An independent mortgage professional is engaged by you to ensure that you have a sales aspect. So we're automatically doing interest rate look backs to ensure that you have. We're automatically continuing to find solutions for you beyond the initial mortgage consultation.
Well, you can have all the consultations you want with some of your big financial institutions, but the most common complaint, or among the most common complaints we hear at the Mortgage Show over the last 15 years of doing this show is you can't get any responses in a timely manner from a big financial institution. Try calling your bank today. See if you can get anybody who's actually live and in person. And that's one of the great things about dealing with the Angela Calla mortgage team. You get a live person responding to your queries instantly. And Martina found that out when she was dealing with her big financial institution. She couldn't get any of her questions answered regarding a mortgage. She was looking to move to the Okanagan, and it was a big move, a lifestyle move, a financial move. It was a wholesale lifestyle change for her, and she wanted some answers during this stressful situation, and she got a hold of Angela, and everything just worked out really, really well. And Angela had a chance to check in with Martina recently via Zoom, and let's you and I check in on that conversation.
So thank you so much for joining us, Martina. It's a pleasure to have you today. If you wouldn't mind, can you share a little bit about how you heard about the Angela Calla mortgage team and what your current life stage is?
Yeah, My friend, he was in the same situation before, and he actually reached you, like your company, and he had really good experience. And when we started to kind of thinking about to buy some property, he told us about you, and he gave us the contact, and we contact your company, and we heard it from our friend. Yeah.
Amazing. And does your friend live in the same community as you? Or tell me a little bit about your friend.
He lives in Vancouver, and we live in Kelowna. Means that, but before we lived in Vancouver, it means that we are from the same community. Yeah.
Excellent. And what life stage are you and Roman at? Can you tell us a little bit about where you're at together and your journey so far?
Yeah. Yeah, because we are getting old, we kind of decided to settle up and find the home. I mean, like because we were living in a rent for 5-6 years, we started to think about that we should move out, like move another step and move on. Yeah. And we were thinking, we decided to move to Kelowna. It was one big step. And after we decided to buy some property to have investment for the future. And because we are planning to have a family, it was kind of like a big step for us. And that's why we moved to Kelowna, and we decided to buy a condo. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And how was the experience dealing with our team?
Amazing, actually, because I'm artist, I'm crazy, I'm wild. I don't know anything about like numbers and mortgages and all those stuff, and everything was pretty new for us. And because I didn't know anything, I was so happy because your team explained everything detailed. Everything was detailed. I'm a really worried person. I'm really curious, and your team helped us a lot. I had a lot of questions, and the responses were really fast. And I was so happy because how I said everything, it's like totally new. And your team, I felt like a kid, and your team was like a family, like they teach us everything, they taught us everything. And I was really, really happy.
Well, you are our family now. We're going to be here together with you for as long as you have your home ownership journey. And that family aspect's really important. Just like the friend that we had helped, that had introduced you to our team, we're here for you. And it's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure to be a part of you and your husband's journey. And we can't wait to watch you help create a family and have everything ahead. Now, what advice would you have for anybody else that's considering getting a home or reviewing their mortgage? What advice would you have for them who might be having the same feelings that you did?
I mean, like, it's really stressful. Like, the whole process is really stressful. And I would recommend to reach you guys for sure, because how I said, everything was really quick, really fast, especially during these days. Everyone wants to buy a property. The prices are going high, and it's crazy, and everyone is bidding. And I would say, because everything is really fast, and your team was really fast, I was really happy. I would recommend to be patient, like to have a patient for sure. Be ready for stress, for a lot of stress, and be ready to, everything is really fast. And if you are new in this, I mean, like, people as you and your team are here to help you. Mm-hmm. And which we were really happy, and we really appreciate for that. And but be ready to have a home soon.
Well, we're so proud of you both. Let me congratulate you on behalf of myself and my entire team, John, Dave, Julie. They all really enjoyed working together with you. And a little fun fact, I'm not sure if you know, but John is from Kelowna and his family and friends are up there too. So, now we have even more friends in Kelowna.
Yeah, he told us when we were talking on the phone about all the papers. He told us that he's from Kelowna, and I told him we should grab a beer together for sure.
Excellent. Well, we're just so happy for you. We're just so grateful to be a part of your journey. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your story, because those emotions are very real and we all feel them. And to know how you can get supported and to know that that's normal and part of the process, but people are here to help you, I think will be really helpful for our listeners. So welcome to the family. We're here for you and those that you care most about.
Yeah, there you go, Angela. She liked the easy process of working with the Angela Calla mortgage team. And of course, no fee for your service. Angela Calla, CALLA.ca, AngelaCalla.ca. You are listening to The Mortgage Show on CKNW. I'm Manny Bazunas. Back in a moment. Welcome back to The Mortgage Show on CKNW. Manny Bazunas, along with accredited mortgage professional Angela Calla. Angela Calla, CALLA.ca. Want to thank Martina for joining us in the last segment of the show. Boy, did she ever make that clear when she said she liked the easy process working with the Angela Calla mortgage team. Phone calls were returned within a reasonable time. She got so tired of calling her big bank and not getting the proper responses. Again, that's probably one of the number one issues we hear from clients of Angela's. I tried dealing with my financial institution. No one would call me back. At least you called me back within 24 hours. Thank you very much. Another of those clients of Angela's who got really sick and tired of being sick and tired of dealing with a big financial institution is James. He simply grew tired of the bank, so he went to Angela. And would love to have you talk to us a little bit more about that, James. Tell us, first of all, how and why you reached out to Angela.
Well, it was based on a recommendation of a friend of mine who knew about Angela's books and knew about the company. I believe he was a client actually, or is a client also. And so I decided to look into it. I guess the reason I was venturing out to consider new options to renew my mortgage is because I was growing tired of the bank, and I didn't have the time nor the energy to put in to start looking for the best rate, and I thought it would be best to let Angela and her team do that for me. So that was the principal reason why I reached out.
And what was the process like for you? You had been dealing with the bank. As you said, you grew tired of dealing with them, didn't really have the time, so you turned it over to the Angela Calla mortgage team, and they relieved you of that stress.
I'll tell you, it was great. I knew it was a good decision, and when I got involved, the primary reason why is if I had to call the bank, and the banks know they have a problem. Like I phone them up, you're on hold, and the message even says, we are sorry for your delay, and then it goes on and says we are aware of the delay and are trying to work through the process of correcting that. So this is what their artificial intelligent message says at the banks. So you're on hold up to, and I'm not kidding, up to an hour until someone finally answers the phone in the banks. And with the pandemic, it was difficult to go into the banks and get a meeting, or if not, you're standing outside to get in. So I was just tired of the process. I was tired of the delays, not being able to talk to someone, and plus at the banks, you can never have a relationship with anybody because, I think in the time, within a couple of years, my bank manager or the people I was dealing with at the bank had flipped or changed or went on to other companies or other branches within the system. So I could never develop any sort of personal relationship. And that's what that was one big difference between the banks and dealing with, Angela, is that when you phoned, someone would call you back. If they didn't answer the phone immediately, someone would definitely call you back with the answers that you were looking for, and always had the right answers, or at least would find out that information for me. So that's the principal reason why I like the experience so much.
Well, it really is. We hear this from clients of Angela's all the time, James. It's really the difference between night and day, dealing with a big anonymous financial institution and then getting down to the nitty gritty and dealing with a real personal team like the Angela Calla mortgage team. We hear that all the time.
Mm-hmm. You know, and only that, you know, the bank, I felt like I was an important client right from the go, like right from when I made my very first phone call, you know, and the banks, I had been a customer with the Bank of Montreal for many years. And quite honestly, they didn't offer me the best rate when I first called. And when I kept finding other rates, you know, then the bank would look into it, but they weren't actively trying to find me the best rate. And then when they realized I was no longer going to be a client, then they started reaching out and calling me and saying, well, what can we do? You know, and this is after the fact. And the other thing that made a big difference is when I had done this deal, my birthday was actually at about the same time I was working through all this, you know, this renewal. And I get an email from, you know, Angela's group saying, happy birthday. And, you know, that's, you know, a lot of people say, well, that's not really a big deal. But you know what? It is a big deal because the banks would never do that. Like you would never, you know, I've never got anything from them ever acknowledging, hey, you know, here's your special day today. So, you know, those are the small details. There are big details when you're looking for professionals that are interested in your business.
Well, I think everybody wants personalized service. Unfortunately, it's few and far between today and yesterday and probably tomorrow, but that is certainly one of the hallmarks of the Angela Calla mortgage team. We hear it all the time, James, that it's that personalized service, it's that quick service,
Mm-hmm.
it's the process moving forward
Exactly.
to relieve you of the stress and get on with the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, James, what advice would you give people who are listening to the radio program this evening who may be looking to consolidate some debt or redo their mortgage, restructure their mortgage and save some money? What advice would you give to those folks who are listening this evening?
Basically, don't be afraid to call. It's free to call. You're going to, and ask questions, and you're going to get the answers that you're looking for, and not only will you get the answers you're looking for, but the answers will be explained to you in detail. And you know, you can fact check them; they're always correct. And so I would just say, just make the call. You know, and it's a great option for people, and it's one I'm going to continue to use now that I've done it. So that would be my recommendation, is just phone.
Oh, James, what can I say? It's just such a pleasure to have you as a part of our mortgage family. And we truly feel that financial services are a significant part of your life. So nobody's just a transaction or a number. We believe that you are a part of our family. We care about you, and every single person on my team is led by those core values of caring for you and handling finances like we would expect it to be, and taking the time and investing in people, because without caring for each other, I feel we have nothing. And so, you know, we live in the same community. We're here to help each other and, most importantly, help you live your best life. So I just want to express from the bottom of our heart, our entire team is grateful to help you, and we're here for you for the years to come.
Well, thank you very much, and I will be here for years to come. Knock on wood, and again, everyone stay healthy and stay positive, and don't test positive, but stay positive. And thanks very much for everything that you've done so far.
Again, it's a personal relationship that he has built with you and your team, Angela, and that just goes so far in terms of any product or services, building some sort of a rapport with the person providing that product or service. And so, you know, you're in good hands moving forward.
Yeah, I think when people really start to think about, you know, what do I deserve? Do I deserve to have somebody who actually understands mortgages, understands the economic factors, impact mortgage rates? Do I deserve to have someone who's going to help me beyond getting a mortgage and my changing lifestyle? And do I deserve to have someone who's going to help save money throughout the duration of the mortgage? If you believe you deserve that, then it's really easy. James is like, you know, the hundreds and thousands of people that we help every year at the Angela Calla Mortgage Team, you know when you're calling your institution or when you're dealing with someone, what level of expertise do they have? Not everyone has the same level. Generally, people move around or move up or across or to different branches. And so if you would rather a consistent that's working alongside you to help you benefit from anything that's happening or changing, not only in the economic circumstances in the country, but along with your personal lifestyle, then the difference in what you're going to get. And thing that consumers need to realize is that there is no fee for the service, because wherever we ultimately place the mortgage is where we're going to get compensated. And in addition to that, for whatever reason, if it's in your best interest to stay where you are, then that's exactly what we're going to recommend. So, you know, we get the privilege of having our clients that are passionate about sharing that join us. And I think that if you listen to yourself and your own instincts, you will know. And I do have on my website, I have like 10 questions to ask your mortgage lender. And anybody who's asked their mortgage lender those questions runs back to our office and like ends all contact with whoever they've been dealing with right away, because it's really straightforward. If you have a mortgage right now today and your lender has not called you at least once a year, not to sell you something, but to tell you how to take advantage of the market, how to get ahead financially, to check in, to make sure that you still have the best rate and product. And if you have not been reached out to look at redoing your mortgage, if you've had one in the last 2 years, I'm assuming that my phones are going to be jammed right up.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. The 10 questions you should ask your mortgage lender. I mean, I can think of a couple, but I don't know that I'd come up with 10.
Yeah, it's on my website. If you go under the webinar registration, there's 3 smart money moves to save $500 to $2,000 a month without moving or working harder for hardworking families. And then under that, there's 10 questions to ask your mortgage lender. And I mean, I think the most impactful one is for anyone who, if you answer they haven't or no, it's pretty basic. Your mortgage lender doesn't deserve your business because they're simply working for themselves. So there's no other, wake up call or nothing that's more straightforward than that. If you have a mortgage and your mortgage lender throughout the life of your mortgage every year has not personally reached out to person to say, hey, here's a way that we can save you money and here's a way to make less, you're not getting what you deserve. Bottom line, and you've left money on the table.
Ooh, I don't like to hear those words, left money on the table. 10 questions you need to ask your mortgage lender, available on Angela's website, angelacalla.ca, angelacalla.ca. In the 1 minute or so we've got remaining on this edition of The Mortgage Show, Angela, tell us a little bit about the Mortgage Code. I know it's available on Amazon. It's a bestseller. Proceeds to worthwhile causes.
Yes, every year, generally speaking, a different charity. The last 2 years, we've stayed consistent with the Tri-City Moms Group because those are families right here in the community where we live, work, play, and employ others. Of course, Port Moody, Coquitlam, and that provides food hampers for families that need a little hand up between things. And so that's been exciting. And previous to that, the proceeds have gone to the new emergency room in Eagle Ridge Hospital, the YWCA, Access Youth, the People's Pantry. So that book gives you financial literacy and helps you understand the why behind mortgages to save money and become more financially independent. And in addition to that, helps wrap our arms around the communities for people that maybe we're not helping with a mortgage, but that we can definitely help with a hand up.
Hand up with groceries. Boy, I can't think of anything better, courtesy of the Angela Calla Mortgage Team and the sale of her best-selling book, The Mortgage Code, available on Amazon. Again, no fee for Angela's service, angelacalla.ca. You have been listening to The Mortgage Show on CKNW. Manny Bazunas, along with accredited mortgage professional and best-selling author of The Mortgage Code, Angela Calla. We'll see you next time.
The preceding was a paid commercial program. Unless otherwise identified, the guests on the program are employees of the advertiser. The opinions expressed are those of the advertiser and do not necessarily reflect the views and policies of CKNW.